Welcome everybody to the June edition of the GSQ UQ webinar series. And this time we are really excited to be able to present to you highlights from the last round of our collaborative exploration initiative. We've got some intrepid explorers joining us today to tell us all about their adventures. So first of all, before we start, I would like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of all the lands on which we meet today around Queensland, around Australia and around the world. I would like to acknowledge their elders, past, present and emerging. And I also recognise those whose ongoing effort to protect and promote Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures leaves a lasting legacy for future elders and leaders. All right. So if you have questions during the presentations, please use the Q&A function that you can see at the bottom of your screen, and we will curate those to ask at the end of each presentation. I'd like to introduce, first of all, Helen Anderson from Longreach number 1, Stuart Parker from NorthX, Greg Cousins from Red River Resources, and we will also be joined by Matt Heindel from Dover Castle, but he's currently out on site and will be joining us in a little while. First up, I'm going to give you a little bit of a presentation on the Collaborative Exploration Initiative and the history of it and how it sort of all got started. Some of the stats around it. So if you bear with me, I'll share my screen. All right, are we looking at the right screen?
I can see it's the power. Oh, yep, perfect.
All right, great. Thanks, Rick. Okay, so I am going to get us started with a little bit of an introduction before I hand over to our amazing and fantastic industry presenters. As a bit of a background, the Geological Survey has a number of, let's pull all of these up here, a number of programs running concurrently throughout last year and this. The Strategic Resources Exploration Program, which has run from 2017, is due to finish at the end of this month. I won't go into the details of that right now. We're focusing on CEI, but we will run a workshop in Mount Isa in August to share the results and deliverables from that program with industry. In contrast, our New Economy Minerals Initiative is in its second year with another 3 to go. And as its name suggests, this program is focused on the development of the critical mineral or new economy mineral industry in Queensland. The Collaborative Exploration Initiative, which is what we're talking about today, has been a key part of these larger programs. Last year, CEI's importance was further emphasised with additional funding released by government as a COVID support measure for the minerals sector. As we all know, mineral exploration is really challenging. I come from industry myself. It's hard and at times it can be heartbreaking, also really, really exciting. Exploration is crucial to ongoing development of the resources sector, and yet it is the highest risk component of the mining cycle. This is why state-funded grant schemes exist, and they exist in every state of Australia. They help to create opportunity, they add to the body of data and knowledge available in frontier areas, and they support companies, particularly juniors, to undertake activities that contribute to ongoing resources growth. The grants help create opportunities in undercover regions, in areas with sparse knowledge and data. They promote innovation, and we hope that they accelerate discovery. With the focus of the current rounds of CEI being new economy minerals, we also hope to jumpstart exploration and development of critical minerals projects to support the energy transition and our part in that. An important fact to recognise is that our sector is overwhelmingly dominated by juniors, as is the rest of Australia. This map is a little bit old, but I don't think the stats really have changed too much. It's only a year or so old. It shows just how much of Queensland's mineral exploration tenure is held by junior companies, which are in purple. This amounts to nearly 80% of ground being explored by companies with the smallest budgets. And it is these companies that rely the most on government support and on joint ventures with larger organisations to secure that injection of funds with which to conduct exploration and make new discoveries. The CEI, Collaborative Exploration Initiative, or Collaborative Drilling Initiative, commenced in 2007. So it's been going now for, what's that, I can't add. Anyway, a while, 24 years. But it changed in 2017 to become the Collaborative Exploration Initiative. Initially, it was only focused on drilling. This really recognises the importance of geophysical surveys and other types of data to exploration and discovery. Thus far, we've offered 14 rounds of funding, with recipients of the latest round to be announced imminently. We've received around 600 applications in total throughout the life of the scheme, and as at round 4, which is the one that's just finished and the one that we'll be hearing about today, we had awarded 193 grants totalling around 10 million in funding. This includes 120 kilometres worth of drilling, and I would also love to see a figure for the area of geophysical surveys that we've covered as well, so I might get some of my guys to work on that. In 2019, for round 3, we removed the co-funding requirement for our grants, being the first state to do so, and recognising the barrier that raising capital has for the smallest companies and the ones that we most wish to help. We've also significantly expanded the scope of the scheme from drilling, as it was initially, to geophysics, and now we include machine learning, we include reanalysis of old core or other samples, we include various surface geochemical surveys such as soils and streams, hydrogeochemistry, and many more. In other words, if it's innovative and it may help to expand our exploration toolkit, then we'll consider it under the grant scheme. The map here shows the spread of grants across the state. Obviously, there's a cluster in the northwest that clearly shows the importance of that region. The northeast is also picked out, and there are many other brave explorers in various regions around undercover. Round 4, which is the one that has just completed in June this year and is the one that we're hearing about today, was a record round in terms of funding, as well as the number of applications and grants, applications received and grants awarded. Due to the boost in funding as the COVID support measure last year for the minerals sector, we were able to award nearly $4 million in funding, which is fantastic. And that supported 25 projects across the state. So the map here shows the distribution of projects just in round 4. You'll hear from 4 of those in just a minute. They're highlighted by the pink circles. Longreach number 1 and NorthX are here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Here in the Peaks Ranges area north of Emerald. And then Dover Castle and Red River Resources are here in land from Cairns. The activities that we funded in this round across all 25 projects included a broad spectrum from traditional drilling, geophysics, various types of analyses of a historical core, not just straight geochemistry. There was soil sampling, there were mineralogical studies, and many more. This graph shows that really significant jump in funding in 2020, last year, in response to COVID. And then from there, in the 3 subsequent years, from sort of 2021 through to 2024, the ongoing commitment of $2.5 million for each round of the initiative. This is really great news for ongoing support of our resources sector. But for now, I am going to hand you over to the people that you really want to hear from, our special guests from round 4. Helen Anderson will be up first from Longreach number 1 to tell us about the Fletcher's All project. And then we'll hear from Stuart Parker from NorthX to give us his spiel on the Christmas Dome mineralogy at Peaks Range. And then moving north, we're going to hear from Greg Cousins from Red River Resources. Is going to tell us about geophysics at the Orient project. And then lastly, we've had a switch because of Matt being up on site. Matt Heindel from Dover Castle will tell us all about their drilling adventures. And he did initially join us from the pub, but has decided that the internet was worse there. So he's going back to site and will join us just a little bit later in the presentation and will be available to answer questions. So welcome everybody. Thank you to all of our presenters. You're all fantastic. Thank you for being part of the session today. I'll just give a quick reminder before I hand over that our next webinar will be on the 29th of July, and the theme will be a review of Mount Isa's seismic data and interpretations. But in the meantime, please put your virtual hands together for Helen Anderson. I will stop sharing and hand over to you.